Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks so much, Gary. Just a bit of a preamble for you. So, Northern Lights Winery is my brand. We're Canada's largest fruit winery. Started about 6 years ago. Family company, family group of companies, and we're a super niche brand in that we obviously are making wines from things other than grapes. So,
Yep.
cranberry, strawberry, rhubarb, blueberry, you name it, blackberry, all that kind of stuff. And because we're in such a niche market, there's a lot of education, but we're not trying to sell to people who don't want to be sold to. We really want to kind of focus and find our consumers. Within our area, we've been extremely successful because we have built this really nice community of people within our region that really kind of know us and love us. But as we're getting further and further away, it's kind of harder to connect with people in that same manner. So we're not able to kind of grow as fast as we get further away from our home base.
Of course,
Uh,
they're very
yes,
different businesses. One's a local business, one's a scaled brand play.
that's right. So, I mean, we're kind of in an interesting place because we're struggling with the need to create that community and brand awareness, with also our desire to grow, to become one of the more well-known brands and really can create experiences for people across the country. And so in that, we're always getting this push and pull of how much time do we spend branding and how much time do we spend on sales, and how do we kind of balance that? So that's kind of my first
Well,
question,
yeah,
anyways,
let's
is
start
how
with
we do
that.
that.
Well, are push and pull with whom? You yourself in the mirror?
No, with us and ourselves. Yeah, I mean with our
Yeah.
sales team and with ourselves, right? In terms
I
of that.
think you can really run the gamut of 80-20 in either direction, depending on what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, what we want to accomplish, we want to create more experiences with people, and we want them to connect with
No,
us
I
and create
understand that. I'm sorry,
conversations.
that's the micro. I'm going macro.
Yeah.
Are you planning
Okay.
on selling the business?
No, not anytime soon.
Good news. Then you have no problem. I mean this. I'm going to break this down for you. I understand everything you're saying. You're just talking about pacing now,
Yeah. Yeah,
right? So
totally.
the answer is both can work. It just honestly, I think it comes down to what you like more. If it's second gen and you're thinking like not anytime soon and this is where I need real answers. If you're like, no, Gary, actually I'm second gen and I'm the guy who I want to sell it to a PE firm in 6 years. Well, that's different. If you're telling me 21 years, well, that's different. So that's where the answer to your question comes from the North Star. It's why, James, you start, where's James? There he is. James comes in, knows exactly what he's doing in ad land. And because I don't, even at this point, I don't over communicate everything running through my mind. I was doing things very differently, not because I was right or wrong, or James was right or wrong when he was my COO. It's just that there are not many agencies on earth that are being built to be built in perpetuity. So my appetite to not make any profit is not that's not normal. Almost every agency of any size is a publicly traded company. They have to make numbers every 90 days, let alone every year. So all my decisions were foreign and for James up front, and then he got accustomed to it. And his feedback and his vision were things that I had to factor into. Hey, this is his framework. That's where I'm going with you and everybody else right now. Most of the decisions all of you have to make is what are you actually up to? Like if you tell me you're trying to sell the company in 3 years, I'm going to give you very different advice if you're trying to sustain it in perpetuity and how much you care about money versus loving it. That's the
I
other
really
thing.
don't want to sell it. I don't really want to sell in the short term. Of course, never know what it's going to be like in 10 years. I would say
okay.
20 years is a longer time frame, but
so
we're kind of at a decision point.
Is 10 a fair one?
Yeah, you never know what'll happen in 10 years. So I definitely don't want to be in a place where I need another 10.
Yeah. Look, I think here's what I would say. You don't have as big of a local base as you think. Everybody makes that mistake. Everyone's like, man, we've got this squeezed. The community loves us. And now we're going to go to Toronto. You never have as much local business as you think. It's number one rule of a business like this, for sure. So if that's exciting for you, right? Because you're like, shit, we really know how to do this. We got this model down. You can go ham and quadruple down on it. If it's not, because you got youthful, big ambition and conquering Montreal sounds more fun, well, then you can just do that, but it won't be as financially viable as quickly.
Right. So we can grow, and we just have to kind of suck it up and make sure
But
we're going to keep the lights on. But
yeah, that's what I think.
Mhm.
I'm a huge fan of, if you can live as, like, for all of you, live as humbly as possible for as long as possible. Because that means your business is getting more of the money.
I've got a second question really quick, if possible.
Yep.
I just want to talk a little bit about strategically. I really feel like the winery game is very traditional, and there's a lot of history and legacy behind it. And
Yep.
that's something that we aren't really about all of that. We want to be kind of a new player with new ambitions and bring it down to earth a little bit for the average person who
Yep.
maybe is, they're interested in wine, but they feel intimidated by it. We want to kind of open up and
I know
introduce
that
new
game.
people to wine.
Yep.
So, like, how do we? Everyone seems like in a place, especially in Canada, that all the legacy players are doing the exact same thing. They're working sales funnels. They've got general content. It's not really personalized, and it talks about kind of the prestige of wine. But how do we, like, what things can we do to kind of change that game and that narrative?
I mean,
Obviously, our content, but
no, that's it.
yeah.
Like, this is where everybody makes the same move, right? Like, obviously our content, but what else, Gary? No, the content. Like, if you make content that shows people pairing blueberry wine with pancakes and you have a good time with it, people here might be interested in it in a world where they're not interested in it at all. The reason Wine Library TV was so game changing in the industry was I did it differently. It wasn't about arbing YouTube ads. It wasn't about anything other than I talked about wine differently. And you've got fruit wine, like you should be targeting, like, your content should be targeting, like, do you not like wine? Good news, we made a wine you'll like. Like, you have a
Right.
whole different game going on. You should be making content for everybody but people that are into wine. Like,
Totally.
like your content needs to be about interest graph around hunting and hockey and, sledding. And do you like hot chocolate? Well, then you'll like this. Like, you have so much more freedom than most people. But it's only about the content. There is nothing else on earth. The only thing that matters is the communication, which is the content. Of course, there's the distribution of the content. But if you don't start with the content, I can get everybody in Canada to see your video. If it's boring as shit or not interesting, it lost.
So should I spend more time on organic in that realm, like the TikTok and stuff like
Yes.
that? Or
TikTok is a dream come true. It's been years since we've had this.
Yeah, and trying to do things, maybe not stay away from paid media, but make sure that the paid media's got a better return, and then the organic is.
But you know this, iOS 14.5, like, there's a lot of paid
Yeah.
media issues now for DTC.
Totally.
This is time to lean into creative and brand. TikTok's heaven. And everyone's lollygagging it. If you're here, you're aware of me, and I've been very consistent about this, and you're all underperforming on TikTok, and you know it. It's like, how many times are we gonna do this all together? Right? Like, it's the same game, and every time it comes around, like, I put out content, and you're like, damn, I wish I found Gary when Instagram was good. And then TikTok comes and you're not doing it. That.
Cool. That's awesome.
Cool. Thank you, brother.